So welcome back to Fur Fighters, and we're going to be taking on Viggo's secret submarine, the V-100. And it looks like he's pleased to see us. Yep, so let's get inside before these mincemeat does. You can't really avoid taking damage unless you want to really time properly when you climb the ladders here. So it seems like we're going to be diving soon, so we better get inside before it dives. And also the music here is very good, just like the rest of the game, especially the Viggo-A-Gogo sections with all the James Bond parodying. So we're going to have to find out what his new plan is to destroy us, because we just destroyed all of his aircraft, so I don't know what he could have in store for us now.
Welcome, Fur Fighter, aboard my private submarine. With my beautiful little carrier safely tucked away, we can set course for Fur Fighter Village. Once there, I intend to release a full-scale atomic missile strike against your precious village. This impressive submarine is invulnerable to all forms of attack. In fact, the only thing that could damage it would be itself.
Okay, well that escalated quickly. It went from let's have some aircraft attack you to let's just nuke your entire village. So yeah, this is kind of important. We really have to stop this submarine now before it literally fires a load of nukes at us. So this level is a lot shorter than the previous one, since this is completely linear now, what you have to do. There's no longer a set number of things you have to destroy, but you just have to destroy this submarine itself. And soon we're going to be able to grasp the size of this place as well. Because as you can see here, that is the aircraft carrier that we were just on. So yep, that is this current room we're in now is actually bigger than the entirety of the previous level. At least how big it is anyway. Obviously there was a lot more to do with the previous level because it was maze-like and stuff. So that's kind of what I really like about this submarine. It is gigantic. It is ridiculous. Like, why would you even need a submarine this big? So just being a little bit careful now, just to try and avoid dying.
Thank you for getting rid of those nasty bears. I was afraid I might have to launch myself out of the torpedo bay to escape.
Now that's a good idea, mate. Yep, so as you heard previously, Viggo mentioned that this submarine should be invulnerable to all forms of attack except itself. So we have to find a way to launch a torpedo at the ship itself. So we have to get control of the fire codes for their submarine, for their torpedoes rather, and then shoot them with it. And there we happen to die, but this level is kind of short, so we can get right back there quickly. The problem with you using Viggo in this area is that there isn't really a quick way to change out of him. And you may have also noticed that the place where that beaver was also had a Viggo teleporter. So we could fire ourselves out of it right now, but we'd prefer not to just in case we die, since we wouldn't have a save point from it. So even though this level is linear, there is two things that you can do, and it doesn't matter which order you do it, and one of them will be shooting ourselves out of a torpedo bay. But since we're currently playing as Viggo, we'll come back and do that one later. And obviously, since we can jump down here, we may as well swim down here. So about being attacked by these guys when underwater, as long as if you carry on moving and you don't turn too hard, then they won't be able to catch you. Because they have to stop to attack. Because there we had to turn around, but since he was at a right angle to us, he was able to attack us. But as long as if we turn by strafing and the like, then we shouldn't be able to get attacked by them. So we're just doing this for tokens. There's nothing else down here except for tokens, but you know, a token's a token. And we'll be able to get all 100 on this level because we're not too difficult. I should be able to get all 100 tokens on the final level as well. Even there, when I'm basically staying still to have a look around, they can't really attack you very easily. But with that said, though, I am pretty sure that this aircraft carrier is smaller than in the last level. Like, they may have resized it down a bit. Because it does still feel like you went along the lengthways quicker. But then again, it might just be because obviously it's a big room, so you're going to think that it's smaller as a result. So they don't actually expect you to come around from this direction, so the enemies are actually attackable when they're trying to ambush you, which is quite funny. So we're just going to go around until we find blue tokens, which means we've already picked them up in the last life, and then we'll just continue. There was some much needed pendulums. And here we have a torpedo. So this is what we're going to use to destroy this submarine. Yep, we need the torpedo launch control commands. So that's our objective on this map, is to get that. And once we launch that torpedo, then we'll complete the level. And this will be the last token, I believe. Yep, now we're coming up to blue tokens, so we know we've already been over here, so we can turn around. Yeah, actually I think it is the same size as in the last level, never mind, because this is a long corridor that you're going down. I do just really love that, the fact that you get the sense of size for this level based on the previous level. Because if this had the same type of maze-like corridors that wind around on each other, it's not really so much a maze-like as it is just very well designed to have as many areas in the small space as possible. Then this level will be gigantic, but it's not really, only really has the sort of a linear path that goes around it. And here we have the missile room, where all those nukes are currently aiming. So we really don't want to launch these atomic missiles at us, so we gotta go and destroy the submarine before we can. But seriously though, it is like Viggo has gone up from just being, okay, I'm going to drop anvils on Boops' head, then I'm going to have my aircraft attack him, to just, okay, let's nuke their village and kill them all with atomic missiles. It's like, well, you certainly went overboard with that. There you go, we currently needed that save point so that we can respawn here. Now despite this seeming like probably a very unsafe thing to do, we can jump down here. And there's tokens. Obviously, if they started firing now, then we would get incinerated, but at the same time our village would be being nuked, so it's not going to happen. Also, yes, the very slight and weird part of OCD in myself where I want everything to be sort of symmetrical is really annoyed by this room because there's one more missile on the right side compared to the left side. See, there's that one extra missile here, that is really annoying. Like, I'm sure they did that on purpose, just to annoy someone. And it worked. It annoyed me, guys. It worked very well. Here we're coming up to the mess hall. Viggo is watching you. And he's actually got a wanted poster to identify all of us, which is pretty good. Even though you could do with adding colours onto it, mate, you've just got a sort of a silhouette. Yep, and here we are in the kitchen. And obviously there's lots of penions here just for us. And here's the meat locker room. At least I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It looks like it does look a lot like there's supposed to be meat chunks hanging there, but to be honest, they could be coats, and it could just be a coat room that for some reason is next to a kitchen, and I wouldn't know any better. But I'm pretty sure it's meant to be meat. You know, the cel-shaded stuff is great and all for simplicity, but sometimes you can be a little bit too simple, and kind of be confusing as to what it is. So that's one of those dollies that's going to take that food up, and we can ride that. And there's a key there, and we want to get to it. Now the problem with this lift is that it's got a very slight delay on it, so as a result I pressed it, I thought that it wasn't going up, and then I ran off the edge by accident when I was trying to press the button again. And yes, that will crush you if you get underneath it, so don't do it. And yeah, it definitely is a meat locker room since there's a chunk of meat on this lift. Or the dolly, rather. I'm pretty sure they're called dollies. I don't know. I don't work in a restaurant. If I was thinking it might be a good idea as a job type to do that, but, you know, I don't do it at the moment. And here we have the proximity alert system. I'm sure we won't need to use that. Oh well, let's get going.
Proximity alert. Danger. All crew to...
Right, so here's basically a Simon Says-like thing, but it's more that it gives you the codes up front. So you have about 1 to 2 seconds to input the code, and it's going to get more difficult each time. And yes, if you fail to do this, the submarine will blow up. I know that Viggo said that this submarine's invulnerable, but, you know, it's actually really easy to destroy it, apparently. Now, the big problem with doing this is that you don't get any sort of feedback if you press the buttons or not. Like, there's no sound for if you input something correctly or incorrectly, or any sort of visual feedback. So you just kind of have to do the code and hope that you did it right, which is that's kind of bad, to be honest. They should have had probably like another one that shows beneath it each time you input it or something like that. So yeah, it actually turns out that if we actually stayed at home and didn't come here, then the submarine would have destroyed itself because the bears are so bad at driving it. But obviously we had no way of doing that, so we had to come here and try to destroy it ourselves. So obviously we could just destroy it by screwing this up, but then we would die, and that wouldn't be good. We can't have ourselves die. This does go on for a little bit too long, I think. Like, I think it probably should end on this one right here, or maybe the one before it.
Proximity alert over. Area is clear.
Ah, shit, it wasn't too long, in my opinion, actually. Because since this is post-commentated at the moment, because again, me trying to cancel out the echo thing, ended up screwing up the audio. But I remember being a little bit annoyed by that when I was doing it at the time. I was thinking this is going on a little bit too long. But to be honest, that was just about the final one I would have expected it to be. Either the one before or that one. But if it did do an extra one, then I would have felt like it would have gone on too long. So there's going to be one more of these things that we have to do, and that other one is actually going to be kind of hard. So here we have the captain's safe, and like always, to unlock it we need both the lieutenant and the captain's key. Or the first mate, I suppose, since it's the Navy, and they need to use both at the same time. We've only got the one key at the moment, so we need to get the other one. And it'll be in that safe that we get the torpedo missile launch code things. Don't know why I said torpedo missile, because in fact they're two separate types of, you know, missile-like device. Well, you should have said weapon rather than missile-like device, I didn't really help matters. Who cares? I'm nitpicking my own feedback here. So the only thing that remains now is actually going to be to launch ourselves with Rico through that torpedo bay that we heard about. And since we're now playing as someone other than Rico, we'll be able to swap to him there and then get a save point just in case we screw it up. And that's the reason why I didn't do that one originally. Yeah, it probably would have been better to do it in that order. So it's actually a very short level compared to the last one, because we're almost done now. Because that is the thing, like, this is a lot bigger than HMS Viggo-A, but at the same time, it's just sort of a lot more straightforward. You don't have to do any sort of maze-like stuff or find what to do.
Don't you know how to treat a beaver properly?
Of course I do, mate, I just choose not to.
Warning. Torpedo tube is ready to launch. Continue at own risk.
Sounds good to me. Well, this is probably a really stupid idea, but let's do it. Yep, so here we've just got to avoid the mines that are down here and the propellers. And there's also one more very little trick right at the end, which is going to annoy us. Because if we don't manage to get inside the ship again, then we'll get killed by the final propeller. So we need to swim up here and make it just in time. There we go. If you miss going up then you'll die. For some reason we're having a lot of difficulty getting up there. Oh, and also if you want to know a really, really bad token, it's this one here. Just look at that, right? You can't see it from any other angle. It's completely covered and it looks like there's just no corner to that wall. So if you go around the other way, like if you don't go around clockwise, if you go around anti-clockwise instead, then you would completely miss that token, you wouldn't notice it was there. It's kind of bullshit game, gotta say. I know it is this game, and we have already proved that this game will do that, but still, every time it happens I feel like I need to call it out. So we're now actually on the other side, which is where we saw the previously locked key when we were playing as Chang earlier. And due to what's upcoming, we definitely want to take Chang here, because we need to save things. Because that Simon Says code input thing was really easy compared to what's going to happen now, and also that invisible enemy is stuck in the water and can't get out. And I'm going to say that's a fitting punishment. So we're just going to ignore these guys and just run up here. I'm just looking up there to see if there's any tokens up there, but there isn't. There's some stuff up there we can probably get with Bungalow. Oh, steering control. Qualified bears only. I wonder if we're going to have to use this like the last one. Of course we are. Like seriously, Viggo, you hire incredibly bad bears to drive your submarine. So you got all of it, 100 tokens. And the only way to go is back here, so let's leave.
Danger. Depth charges detected.
Okay. Yeah, so this is really bad because the feedback you get on this is incredibly bad. Like, the controls are stiff and have a long delay on them. You might see me moving, and it's actually happening, like I'm pressing to move that direction before it actually turns. It's sort of really floaty, like some of the most floaty controls I've ever played. The good thing is, though, you don't need to control your speed. It seems like if you just go at max speed, you don't have to, then you won't get hit by any of these depth charges. Also, it needs to be pointed out that when I was playing this, since this is obviously post-commentary, I couldn't see a thing on my screen. I had to do this via the viewfinder, and we died because we clipped a wall very slightly. Again, Viggo, you said that this was completely invulnerable to damage except for its own weaponry. I clipped a wall and the entire submarine blew up. Like, are you sure, Viggo? Are you sure that you sort of knew what you were getting when you bought this? Made this, rather? Because I think that the designers, you know, they sort of lied to you about that. It's like, oh yeah, it won't get destroyed by anything. What's that? The very edge wing of it just so happened to clip the wall? About that, you know, it's bound to happen, isn't it? That's not covered by your insurance, sadly. And the same with these depth charges, like whoever is shooting these animals, they'll destroy us if we do get hit by them. So at this point I just kind of go upwards rather than trying to go side to side around the stuff that's down there, because that probably just won't work. And going up and down is incredibly delayed. Like, going left to right isn't as bad, but up and down is really delayed.
Alert cancelled. The danger has passed.
So that took me about 3 or 4 times tries to do it, so I cut out all the other ones. It doesn't look hard, but it's just the way that the controls are as floaty as they are really screwed up. That and not being able to see the screen because it's pitch black and I need to use a viewfinder as well, so... But then again, with that said, the viewfinder does have like a half a second, quarter of a second delay on it. But since it's already delayed, it wasn't much of a problem to use a viewfinder. The only thing that's left now is to go back to the captain's safe. And yes, we definitely want to change character because we need a save point. I am not doing that again. Right, so the safe should be up here, and then we'll just have to get the codes and then launch the torpedo. And like we mentioned before as well, they need to be pressed at the same time, so obviously the best way to do that would be to press one and shoot the other. a very little bit of a puzzle there. I kind of like it because it is known that you're supposed to use those keys at the same time, so it's just, I don't know, shoot for luck. Yeah, that'll work. So now we're going to head down to the torpedo bay and destroy Viggo's submarine. Yeah, that steam does hurt you, but it's really not a problem. You can just run through it, it doesn't do much damage. Unlike that guy's punch is like Kenshiro's, they're just completely decimated. So let's input the codes and launch this torpedo at the submarine.
So, you've disabled my little submarine. No matter, it has served its purpose. I have you where I want you, and I shall be arriving momentarily to deal with you personally. Be seeing you.
And now we're entering Viggo's secret island, which is going to be the final level of the game. Which is even bigger than the submarine! Like, Viggo, you have way too big things. And I have no idea how that actually manages to fly like it did, but anyway, when we come back, we're going to be finishing the game, or at least doing the final level, and then we'll have to deal with the final boss, which will be Viggo himself. So until then, be lovely to each other.